World. We are talking to Flora Rudolph today and meeting trees. And today, if you can know your trees, you will realize that that tree is the chestnut tree. And if you don't know your tree, I've now told you it's the chestnut tree. And Flora is going to tell us why this chestnut tree is so significant that you want to get to know it. How are you, Flora?
Hello. Hi. I'm great. So here we are. I wanted to get a you to get a sense. I'm going to start walking across the street here.
Okay.
We're on an urban corner in Portland. It's like a really busy corner, and
So busy, they're honking their horn. Yes.
um, I just wanted everybody to know that they could meet a tree anywhere and have a fantastic experience.
Right.
So this particular tree, is very dear to me. It's like I lived a few blocks from this tree for years. So here we are with the tree.
Hi, tree.
Hi, and it always called to me, and so I would stop, and it became almost like a really dear friend. Well, it did become a very dear friend,
Uh-huh.
and it would just leap out at me and just be so joyful and soothing and engaging and welcoming, and it was but just that made my day bright and happy every time I crossed the path of this tree, as it still does. One week I was gone for a week, and I came back, and it felt like the tree just leapt out at me, like physically leapt out at me. It was so happy to see me return. Um, and so I have this great connection with this chestnut tree. I'm going to turn around here some more.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a lot of lore about chestnut trees, primarily because they have acorns instead of little seeds that can travel.
Right.
So after the Ice Age, back then, my grandson once asked me if I was alive during the Ice Age. Anyway, after the
After all, Ice Age was only made just a few years ago. There was one, two, and three.
um, seeds could travel quite easily through birds, right?
Right. Yep.
Acorns could not. So they kind of ended up in more like Central Europe and around Greece and such.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were brought to England and everywhere else later, not too long ago, like 1600s or something. So there's not all of that ancient, Druid talk about them and rituals around them that come out of Europe, as there are with other trees.
Okay.
However, this tree has been used just for the lore part and what other people have seen with this tree. It has been used as protection. Some people make their roof coverings out of it to protect it from lightning.
Okay.
And it's been commonly seen. Well, it also has many healing properties for rheumatism and skin and all those kind of things that are used medicinally. However, it's also been seen. What's much more interesting to me is it's been seen as a tree that clears your mind
Okay.
and helps you tune into your intuition. And it's also like a maple, but different as far as like one of those big welcoming trees in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so singular and alone, but it's outgoing. And obviously, it's like this particular tree, I've watched it through all the seasons, and it is so prolific. It's now losing most of its leaves.
Right.
It's on the street corner covered in concrete on its roots, right?
Uh-huh.
I can still feel the energy of the roots as I stand here next to it. But it is just abundant. I mean, it's pumping out these leaves in gorgeous colors. It's throwing acorns everywhere. It's just doing its tree business right here and just shining this light. And I've walked past this tree several times when people go, wow, what a great tree. Just the beauty and the energy of it. So when you find a tree like that, go to it. I mean, it's just going to change your life. It's going to start opening you and changing your energy currents, get you in a higher vibrational state, and move you to such joy and connection.
Uh-huh.
Really what it's all about. So, yes.
Well, okay, so I got the question on the chestnut tree because last night we were singing the Christmas song, which is chestnuts roasting, on an open fire.
Right.
So what is the significance of like the idea that we're roasting chestnuts at this time of year when you're talking about this prolific tree that's great for, healing, clearing?
Yeah. I think it's just the taking in of that energy.
Okay.
It's a big offering from this tree.
Ah.
Just got that. It's a big offering, and it's a big sharing of healing and connection with your own intuition and with the tree, of course. But it's it's kind of a medicinal thing for this time of year when you might be getting achy, something like that, or having any kind of colds, whatever. That this tree is here to offer these its fruit.
So is it the chestnuts that have the medicinal purposes, or is it the bark that has the properties, or is it hugging the tree and you're feeling the energy? What part of it is there a part of it's medicinal, or it's the whole tree?
The part that I know of that's medicinal is the chestnuts.
Okay.
However, it's really likely impossible that the whole tree is, and I just don't know it.
Well, yeah.
But where I get the energy is by this, just tucking into this bark of this tree and the trunk of this tree and looking up at these beautiful leaves. But basically, it's just a stunning energy. I love it.
Well, I guess as you're talking about, it's an offering, right? The chestnuts are an offering, and it's about trusting a deeper connection with your intuition. The idea that we're roasting them on an open fire is like allowing them to, sort of embrace it all and warm us and trust it and feel comforted by it.
Yes.
And at this time of year, as much as it's about giving and receiving, it's like an interconnection. And it sounds to me like the tree is offering us a deepening of that connection at this particular time.
Yes, and I think that I think the warming part obviously starts to release their essence and their oils and just all their properties for us.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's a huge sharing from the tree to us and to other animals as well. They're not. I guess the chestnuts, when they're raw state, can be poisonous.
Oh.
So the roasting is important.
So here, let's put a caveat in here. Please do not go and find a chestnut and eat it. That is not, we never said to do that.
No.
We said that these have properties, and we are I got to get my language right. You are completely responsible for going to find a chestnut and doing anything with the chestnut. We are only sharing a story.
That's right. Good job. Yeah. So it's such a happy tree, and that's why it's, for me, I have more of a connection with this than, for example, a maple. The chestnut is just, they're both very generous trees and very almost like family kind of trees. Mm-hmm. You sit around them, around the hearth, and all this with the chestnut tree. But for me, a chestnut tree just has more depth, would be the word for me. Yeah.
So does this particular chestnut tree have a reason why it picked this street corner?
I don't know. I've talked to this tree about that, but I haven't really gotten that clarity. It's just very happy to be here.
Right.
It loves all the people walking by.
Yeah.
It just loves the activity. And that's why it's just pouring out its gifts right and left all the time, When I walked back here a few weeks ago,
mm-hmm.
the entire street and sidewalk and ground around it, I'm just covered.
Yeah.
With chestnuts and leaves and just tree. Hey, here you go.
Right. Have a nut. Well, I guess it's that that reasoning intellect thing that we have bought into that wants to raise this question that I say, why is the tree standing in that corner? And I believe your answer about it just is being and loving where it is. It's happy. And that's really the message that all the trees are giving us, is they just stay rooted and deliver this beauty and presence every day of the life, changing carbon dioxide and oxygen, and ask nothing of us.
Yes. It's like, if you've ever been hiking
Mm-hmm.
along a cliffside, perhaps, and you've seen a tree that's just like living on no dirt whatsoever, it appears, but leaning way over the edge and just growing up and doing its thing.
Right.
Just, the idea of, blossom where you're planted, or whatever that saying is.
Yes.
This tree embodies that on the street corner in Portland. It's pushing up the concrete all around it because the roots are, just so vibrant and alive. And the tree wants a little bit more space, so, for itself. But it is spectacular, and it's just, there's everything about it is healthy, feeling, and alive. How can you say that this is like one of your best friends? That's kind of like way off the deep end, but it is.
Well, it is probably a good example again for us about standing in our own power, and that sense of standing in our own being.
Yes.
Because when you are, the trees just created that presence, and she said it's like not going, I need to move. It's like, look out, concrete. I am shifting what seems to be firm and foundational because I need to branch out.
Because I am here, right?
I am, yes, because I am.
But it's just like that. And the messages are, just as you said, just blossom, live, give, be your vibrant, healthy self whenever and however often you possibly can in every situation. Yeah. So
the first time you met the tree, like literally, did you realize that you'd gone past it maybe, 20, 50, 100 times before you were like, okay, you want me to come over and talk to you?
It was like the first time I really noticed it. I think I walked past it and then I came back. It was like, wow, hi, and first it was like a while ago. So I was kind of tentative about being so exposed on this corner, with everybody.
Right. What are you doing?
I mean, they need to be doing this as well.
Right.
Everybody hug your tree.
Right.
But it just pulled me in with its, there's a huge truck, just a second. So it just pulled me in with its energy, with its vibrancy and love and joy. And it's been a big tree in my transformation to being so incredibly happy. Happier than I've ever been in my life, all the time.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, I think
wait a second.
You picked such a great example of the tree, right? And the fact that there is, you can, like in life, you can focus on the good, which is this great, wonderful tree that you have in the middle of the urban area, or you can turn around and focus on the traffic and the, in a sense, the truck going by and the ongoing stuff. So the question is, where are people putting their day-to-day focus? And the tree, again, is that perfect example of saying, notice me, get present, I'm the gift.
It's also here to help us do that.
Yeah.
So available to help us make that transition, because many of us are caught up in the traffic and the grind and got to get there and then everything will be okay, versus like right now and being alive and vibrant and such in every moment. But that's what the gift of the trees is it really helps you transform that and just stop it, and no matter where you are, like here I am, downtown Portland, you can find a tree that calls to you and have this transformation.
So beautiful. So that is the chestnut tree. So we've done the birch, we've done the hornbeams.
No, we haven't done the hornbeams. That's next week.
Oh no, we did the dawn redwood, and the hornbeams are coming next week. Hornbeams are coming. We still haven't done the maple or the evergreen, or the countless other hundreds of trees there are. So there's a lot of trees to meet everybody.
All right.
There's trees in your own backyard.
Yes.
And on your way to work.
Yeah. And please, 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 I'm so excited to meet you and your tree experiences. I really want to hear what happens when you go out and talk to the tree in your backyard and get that, jolt or nothing. If nothing happens, I'd love to help guide you to that experience. So please just go to my website, Tree Love Connect, hook up, and I also have a couple free things there that you might enjoy. One is like a retreat. You can do it for a few hours or a whole day or repeat it.
Uh-huh.
And it's got like everything, your kit, what you need to take with you, what you're looking for, and guided meditations and all the instructions you need to have a great experience with the tree. Yeah. And there's also a tree prescription for what ails you, like your love life, your finances, your dragging energy field, your whatever, your loss of purpose. And I'd love to give you a free prescription to get you going on your journey and using trees, or not using, but engaging and involving trees in your life as these great connectors that they are, and these great loving beings that they are. So that you get out of your head and you realize there's no possibility that you are separate.
Correct.
There's no possibility that people are different than anything else. We just have these minds that have been telling us that, but it's just makes it so unpleasant.
Well, yeah, like I kind of giggle at the fact that people identify with this concept of mind and mindset, because it's like the last time I checked, I'm a body, at least, right? Or I'm a vibration. So why would I just limit my perception on just that alone? So the tree to me is the perfect example of presence, because its roots are deep and its trees and leaves are there, and it's been there for, as you say, millions of years.
Right.
It just has, it gives and it releases and it gives and it releases and it recharges and lets go. And does it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It never says, "Oh my gosh, I gave it away. My leaves are gone. Now what's going to happen?" Right.
No, I've never heard a tree say that.
No. And actually, I think I shared with you the story the other day. It was like a couple weeks ago, and I was walking through our back court, and I felt like this. I looked over, and I felt like, the tree was calling me or whatever. In terms of it was new, and I looked, and this birch had about 5 different spaces. Like, it started out like that and had 5 different branches, and there was a tree that had fallen into it. Ooh. And I looked and I was like, oh, and so it just was like, can you help me? Because it couldn't get the other branches off the tree, right? So literally I, took pieces off there, and it was like, oh, it sort of came back and said, thank you.
Yeah, see, wonderful. That was just a great exchange.
Yeah, and it was like, okay. Now, there's still a bigger one kind of resting on it, and I was like, I haven't got a solution yet for that one, but when I do, I'll come back and figure out how to get that one off you.
Right, that's great.
Leaning on you, right? Sometimes there's a tree.
Yeah, right. Sometimes that's okay. They're holding each other in there. It's just fine.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
The trees are, end of November, I think that's where we're at. And then most of the leaves have fallen off this tree, and many others are bare already. So we're kind of going into that, where they're end of their releasing period, their visual releasing period, and they're going into that internal energy where they pull. You can feel it when you get up to a tree, how they pull in their energy into the depth of their core and into their roots. And it's very concentrated and powerful. It's very quiet and still. So we'll be doing that with the evergreens in a couple, 3 weeks when it's really going on. But it's a beautiful spiritual, it's just highly spiritual experience. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that you were guided to share this particular chestnut tree in the middle of what is perceived as, a traffic area in urban Portland. And so we're going to talk hornbeams.
Next week.
Hornbeam.
They lost their leaves. but they are made mighty.
I'm looking forward to it. So reach out to Tree Love Connect, right?
Yes.
.com
.com.
and get a tree medicate prescription.
Yeah, go start having some fun. Go start expanding your life and get your joy going.
Absolutely. This is beautiful. So glad you could join us. Mwah! I love you,
Thank
Flora.
you. Love you too. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye.